a very warm welcome to Bharata First. You're watching UPSC Corner with me, Frank Rajan Pereira. First, let me inform you about Bharata First Knowledge Center, an initiative that will help each one of you in your competitive exams journey and transform the way you learn. We have started international relations and Indian art and culture classes and short courses as well, and they have all had a phenomenal response. The Knowledge Center is going on in full swing, and you too can be a part of this journey. Go to our website kc.bharatafirst.com for more details and register now. We have an introductory offer which ends on July 30th, 2021. So we have just a few more days to go. Make full use of it and register today. Since you're here, I would like to thank you for your continued support. For those of you who haven't already subscribed, please like the video, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and then all notifications. Do subscribe to our newsletter as well to get some incisive content. The Bharata First team runs a daily big picture quiz. Please participate by going through the description in big picture videos. If you like our content, please contribute to keep it alive. The links are in the description. All this information, along with some must-see recommendations, are in the description of the video. Please go through it. Well then, over the last few weeks, we've been meeting some really accomplished retired bureaucrats who took us down memory lane and informed us about their journey as civil servants. Today, it's time to infuse some fresh blood to the program. I have with me someone who has just entered the service and is undergoing training to talk about his UPSC journey and how he cracked one of the toughest exams in the world. I have with me on the program Ankush Singh Bhati, an Indian Revenue Service officer of the 2018 batch. Ankush, welcome to Bharata First.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So let's start from the beginning, Ankush. Let's talk about what made you think of a career in the Indian civil services.
After my graduation in chemical engineering, I joined a corporate sector. I joined a company which makes batteries. So while I was working in the corporate sector, I realized that whatever things the corporate sector was offering me are not motivating enough to take it for a long run. I cannot be motivated by those things for whole of my life. So I started exploring other career options and zeroed down to civil services. I found that civil services will offer me the diversity of job. There were decision making which will affect the people directly. So there were things like this, and there were personal reasons as well that there is a job security and all those things that we all answer in the UPSC interview. So those things were there which motivated me, and I just came to civil services and gave my attempt.
So was there someone to guide you through, this, or was there anyone you were inspired by? How did you get to know about the civil services?
Basically, it was through the seniors of my college itself. My college used to organize a yearly program for the civil servants who used to, for the aspirants who used to clear civil services and get into the services. So I met few of the civil servants, IAS officers, and from various services. So I got motivated from them mostly.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, and as far as attempts are concerned, what about the number of attempts that you took to finally make it? Because we've heard so many stories of people struggling for years together, but still never giving up on the dream. And must commend those who have put in so much of effort as well. I'm sure you put in a lot of effort too.
Certainly, it takes efforts, but I think the luck was on my side when it came to UPSC, and I could clear it on the second attempt itself.
Wonderful. Was there anything unexpected really with regards to the exams, or you must have heard so much from your seniors and others too. What was it that was unexpected and that caught you off guard, do you think?
When I was in my graduation, I was a gold medalist there. I got my gold medal from the then President Shri Pranab Mukherjee. So when I came into UPSC preparation, I was high on motivation, and I was like, I am going to crack it in my first attempt. So when I sat for my exam for the first time, I was very much confident, and I was very eager to clear it in the first attempt. But the UPSC just caught me there, and I could not clear prelims in my very first attempt. So that was a big shock for me, that I thought that I'm going to clear it, I'm going to get a good rank in the first attempt, and I failed in the prelims itself. So that was a shocking moment for me, certainly.
What was the most challenging aspect of the prelims? Because prelims are, it's all about time, it's all about, presence of mind as well. So, what was the most challenging aspect of the prelims?
I think the most challenging aspect of the prelims is uncertainty. You cannot just read and slog for 8 and 10 hours and go to prelims and just clear it. You need your presence of mind, as you said. You need your balance of mind. You need a calmness in yourself to clear prelims. So I think I was just slogging. I was just reading books day and night, and I did not attempted the previous year papers. And I was just surprised to see the exam when I was there. I could not attempt more than 30, 40 questions, which I was sure of. Then I attempted few by the guesswork and all. I could score fine. 95, 96 was my score in the first attempt, but I was not prepared for the uncertainty that was I dealing in the exam.
And how did you approach your second attempt? What was different between attempt one and attempt two?
As I said, I missed the previous year papers in my first attempt. So I focused a lot on the previous year papers. I tried to solve at least last 10 years of the paper in a complete environment of the exam. Then I did a lot of mock tests from the various coaching institutes that they provide. I took the newspapers very seriously. I used to read news earlier from some shortcut methods, but now I just made my notes, my handwritten notes from all the newspapers. And that way I went through a very mechanical process. Earlier, I was thinking that I can clear it with my smartness. I can just be smart, study for hours, put up my hard work, and just crack it. But it was not the case. It requires a lot of hard work, a mechanical work, and then only you can clear it. So I did realize then that, and along with the smart work, I put on some hard work continuously.
We'll come back to hard work and smart work in just a bit because that is my catchphrase as well. I believe that you should work hard and work smart as well if you have to go forward in life, or else you're not going to get anywhere. But before we talk about hard work and smart work, since we were speaking about the prelims earlier, the mains are a completely different ball game, aren't they? Because if the prelims is one thing, the mains is something totally different. Why don't you take us through that as well, so that those who have not experienced it will know what exactly it is all about?
Prelims and mains both maybe the same set of knowledge is required, but the set of skills that they both require are totally different. Prelims require your calmness and your presence of mind, etc., along with your knowledge. Mains require to see any issue from multiple perspectives. You cannot just know the things and just write it down and get marks. You will have to show them multiple perspectives, multiple sides of the same issue. Then only you can just expect good marks in mains. And about hard work in mains, you will have to write a lot. In GS and particularly in optionals like sociology, philosophy, my optional was sociology, by the way. In optional like sociology, philosophy, which are writing oriented, you have to write a lot. You will have to think within 7 minutes. You'll have to write it down and just bring it to a conclusion within those 7 minutes. So that's the skill in itself. You will have to develop it through writing practices and all. So the set of skills that is required in prelims and mains are totally different.
Absolutely. So the structure that you got, Ankush, for your answers, what was your strategy like to get that structure? Because it has to be extremely structured, your answer, or else you're not going to get the required requisite marks. It's as simple as that. There has to be a heading, there has to be, a good conclusion as well, and a meaty portion in between. It doesn't mean that you write two sentences good in the beginning and two sentences at the end, and you let the rest go to luck, as they say.
Yes.
So,
Certainly,
what was the
certainly.
strategy?
There's a definite structure that has been followed since ages. Like you write an introduction first, then you write the main body that is the main content of the answer, and then you conclude with some positive conclusion. So that skeleton is always there. Then you will have to put on something innovative in every answer, something innovative that differentiates with you with the other aspirants, because everyone knows this structure that you have to write the intro, body, and conclusion. So to differentiate yourself from other aspirants, you will have to put in on some masala into it, not real masala, but you will have to put on something innovative, like you write some facts in the introduction, you make a table in the body. So different answers in different paper require different approach. So while you are practicing your answer writing, you focus on those things, that what kind of answer is required in what kind of question. So that comes with practice. It's a completely skill which can be learned, And it's not something like we are good writers or only the great writers with great English and great command on language can only clear means. It's a completely learnable skill.
Ankush, you spoke about how sociology was your optional subject. You have a science background, a technical background in engineering, and from there, taking up a humanities subject like sociology. What made you do that? And was the transition easy or was it difficult? What did you have to do extra because you made this transition from science background to a humanities subject?
Why did I choose sociology? When you read optional, you will have to read it for 1 and 1.5 years continuously. And optional is not like GS that you can write anything and expect marks. It has to be very technical and very in-depth answer. So whatever you are choosing as an optional, then you will have to make sure that you are interested in that subject. So first of all, I made the list of 3, 4 subjects which I was interested in. My graduation subject was certainly not one of them, but I chose those subjects which I was interested in. Sociology was there, history was there, geography was there. So ultimately, I chose sociology because I was very confident about my writing skills. I write a blog as well. I write on Quora at times. So I was very much confident about my writing skill. So I chose sociology, which required a writing skill, which I was interested in. So all those factors were considered, and sociology was chosen. Secondly, the transition from technical background to humanities background, I would say when you choose UPSC, then you choose that humanity, you show your interest in humanities by itself. Your choice of writing civil services is itself shows that you have an interest towards humanities. So I was very much interested in sociology, and when I came to know what the subject matter was, so I really liked it. So the transaction became easy as I got deeper into the subject. It was a very interesting subject, I must say.
Nice, very good. Good to hear and good to know that the transition was easy. There are so many others who have made this transition as well. And I'm sure this shows them a lot of, gives them a lot of courage about choosing the subject that they have chosen. If you can do it, others can follow in your footsteps too. Now, coming back to, your preparation journey itself, what were some of the tools that you use, some of the companions that you had, some of the must do things that you did, without which you thought that the preparation could not be complete?
First of all, I would say the most important thing in this exam is the revision. You read one thing on this day, then you will have to revise it multiple times because you are not going to remember it in the exam. When you are in the actual exam, be it prelims or be it mains, you are under tremendous pressure. So when you are under tremendous pressure, only the things which are ingrained in your subconscious mind will you will be able to remember. So you will have to revise things at least for 4 or 5 times. There has to be only limited resources from which you are reading and limited resources which you are referring. But should be multiple revision for the same resources. So it should not be like that you are reading every new book that comes into the market. So revision and limiting yourself to limited resources. These are two things which are very important. Thirdly, I would say newspaper have a very important role to play. Uh, there are news items, there are monthly news items that you might get from the market, but they do not add value to your knowledge. They do not add value to your answers when it comes to mains and when you have to write things down in 7 minutes under the tremendous pressure conditions. So you'll have to read newspapers, maybe make notes out of them. I used to make notes out of newspapers. So these are the three things I would say that were the tools and the key ingredient of my preparation.
You spoke about hard work and smart work. Let's come back to that. When you talk of hard work, what is hard work equal to for Ankush? 8 to 10 hours, or 4 to 6 hours, or 12 to 14 hours? And what does smart work also mean for Ankush Singh Bhati?
I would say in any number of hours, you cannot just judge how many number of hours you are studying and what could be categorized as hard work. It is different for different people. I used to target 10 hours a day, but I didn't achieve it in the whole of my preparation of 2 years. I used to keep a stopwatch, but it never crossed 8 hours. I must accept that. So 8 hours was an average time that I used to study. I would also like to emphasize on the continuous studies that you will have to put. There has to be perseverance. You cannot just study 14 hours a day and then rest next day. You'll have to study 8 hours on an average every day. So that everyday part is very much important. You cannot just relax for a few days. You can relax for a few days, but you cannot just be lenient and just let go the studies for 2 days. It has to be a continuous effort. So that's hard work for me. Uh, Perseverance is the hard work for me, I would say. And coming to smart work, I would like to remind you of my first attempt that I failed prelims. That was the attempt when I was working hard. Certainly, I was studying for 8 hours a day. Continuously, I was studying. I did not refer to the previous year papers. So that was a mistake that I did. That was an unsmart work, I must say, because I was not referring to what the UPSC is asking. I was reading on the books. UPSC doesn't make questions from those books which I read. So I did not realize that focusing on the things which UPSC is asking from past years, focusing on the things which are required for the exam, and particularly for this exam, you'll have to rely on the past year papers, you'll have to rely on the pattern in which the questions are coming. So that would be smart work, just not working hard day and night, but working in the right direction is the most important thing.
Absolutely. Let's come to your personality test now. And whose board did you get first and foremost? And what was that like? And what was the experience like?
It was the Air Marshal Bhosale's board.
Hmm.
So I entered into the premises at 1 p.m. and I was having my interview in the second shift. And when I was called in, it was around 6:30 p.m. So I had to wait for around 5 hours before the interview. So my wait was literally very long for clearing UPSC, and it was shown in that interview phase as well. Interview was very good. I was asked questions from my graduation background. I was asked questions from my father's background, my father's job, because my father was also in Air Force and Air Marshal mostly could connect with that. So I was asked question from that. I was asked a situational question that if I become DM of my district, certain problems are there. How will you solve them? Then there were questions about the constitution. There were questions about current affairs. So I had the whole spectrum of questions before me. So it was a very sorted, very balanced interview for me.
Was it any different to how you had prepared? Because lot of aspirants prepare as well, for what they want and how they have to go and address a personality test. So you must have prepared too for your personality test and for the interview. Was it any different from how you prepared?
I did prepare for the interview. I gave a lot of mocks, around 5, 6 mocks I attended. But yes, certainly the actual interview is very different from what you face in mocks. First of all, again, the pressure that you face there, because it is the real thing. It is happening finally. So there is a feeling of pride also. There is a feeling of fear also. So pride and fear, both of them are having their own battle, and you feel butterflies in your stomach. So when you just enter, then you see a large room with many experienced, 5 experienced people sitting in front of you. So the atmosphere that you get in the actual interview cannot be replicated by any of the mocks. So that you should keep in mind that you will be amazed by the atmosphere that's there in the UPSC. The knowledge that the board has, the board members have, is tremendously very vast, tremendously vast. So that cannot be matched by any of the coaching institutes, because they were asking questions very written. They had written down the questions in paper and they asked the same question for everyone. But in the board, they ask questions in a very dynamic manner. You answer certain thing, then they try to keep a conversation on. They are not just asking questions and expecting an answer. They will ask further questions from your answers. So I think that in the preparation part, I missed that thing. I could not strike conversation with anyone in the preparation. I was just having one-on-one question and answers. So in the real interview, it was different.
And through your journey, Ankush, what was the kind of support system that you had? Any kind of support from how important is it to have a support system and a support base as well?
I always say that when a candidate clears UPSC, it's not the candidate himself who clears it. It's his whole family, it's his whole friend circle, it's his whole teachers, his faculty, everyone who clears it. Because you cannot just sustain the hard work that it needs for 2 long years. You cannot just survive those hard work 8 to 10 hours of studying, and the mental pressure that you face, the psychological depression that you might go in, and the atmosphere in the coaching centers. That is very depressing, I must say. So to come out of it, you need a support system. You need the pillars of your family and your friends. Everyone should support you. So in my journey also, I got huge support from my family. got support from my family. I got support from my friends, my teachers. They were always there.
Very nice. Good to hear. And did they also rejoice along with you? Distribution of sweets, proposals, and everything else that came along with clearing the UPSC?
I must share my experience of result day with you. I went to UPSC premises for seeing my result because on 5th April around 7 p.m. the results came. I called my dad. I have cleared it. I got this rank. So it takes around 1 hour from UPSC building from the Holpur house to my home. So in that 1 hour, my father called all his friends, all the neighbors, and when I reached my home, my mom was there with a thali of that aarti, and she welcomed me like anything, like I am coming from winning a battle, coming back from winning a battle. And I saw all the neighbors that day, and this did not stop on that particular day. It continued for the next 7 or 10 days. So they were really, really happy. Particularly my father, he could not sleep the whole night the result came. So he was very happy.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I'm sure you've not said anything about it, but proposals also have followed and will follow as well. And that is another part and parcel of UPSC journey. But let's leave that for another day. Probably when we meet off camera, we can speak about that and have a good laugh. But
Yes.
Ankush, how was the training like? And what was it that awed you? Because everyone who's been through the training, everyone that I've spoken to, and I've spoken to a vast number of people all throughout my career, each and every one of them has one word for it. They say it's special. Why don't you tell us what it is like?
Your training starts with a foundation course in Labasana. So whenever you are preparing for UPSC, I have seen people keeping pictures of Labasana on their study table. I have seen people watching videos of Labasana on YouTube and Instagram. So when you actually reach there, then it's a totally different feeling. When you see the gates of Labasana, you enter into the gates of Labasana, you feel like you are entering into a completely new world. You certainly know in the back of your mind that your life is going to change after this. So that's a feeling of that feeling of happiness inside you, that feeling of excitement inside you. So that's amazing. That's amazing, I must say. Also, the duration of training in Lavasana in the foundation course, it's fantastic. All the services are there, all 24 services people are there. So you make friends for lives. I must say that all my best friends, all my closest friends are from Lavasana and they are from different services. So they they remain your friend for whole your life. Secondly, when I came to NADT for my professional training in Nagpur, so that was a completely different ball game altogether. Because IRS is a technical service. You need to study a lot. You need to be very efficient with the Income Tax Act. So there is more part of academic thing as well as there are non-academic things. So you enjoy the NADT with the academics, and there is only one service people. There are only your batchmates inside there. Then the whole experience of training is amazing from Lavasana to NADT to wherever you go. So it's a very, very learning. It's a great learning experience.
Wonderful. Well, lovely to hear and lovely to see you doing so well and your dreams coming true, Ankush. I'm really proud of you and I'm really happy seeing where you are at. And I wish you all the very best. But before I let you go, any words of advice for youngsters who want to follow in your footsteps? What would you like to say to them?
Words of advice, I would like to say that at the end of the day, any service, anything is not an end of the world. It's a job at the end of the day. So it's a good job, no doubt in that. But while you are preparing, you should be motivated, but it should not be an end of the world for you. You should put your 100% of the preparation, but expect little low from the results so that you do not become very sad. You do not get into the depression part, or you do not get into you do not affect your family with your preparation in that way. So be motivated, be happy, be jovial, and be very happy in the preparation and prepare like uh, it's not the end of the world. So I would like to say that just enjoy the process, and just enjoy the process, I would say.
Lovely. Yeah, that's how anyone should take life as well. It's not just the
That-
UPSC, but life should be dealt with that way. Enjoy life as it is. You live once. So make sure that you enjoy it to the fullest and give your best self out on a daily basis. Ankush, a pleasure having you on the program. Thank you so very much. Like I've already said, you make us all proud, and I wish you the very best and do continue to serve the nation with the best of your ability and continue to serve the public as well. Thank you so much, Ankush, for being here
Thank
on Bharata First.
thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, before I go, let me once again inform you about Bharata First Knowledge Center, an initiative that will help each one of you in your competitive exams and transform the way you learn. We have started international relations and Indian art and culture classes and also short courses. They have all had a phenomenal response. The classes are going on in full swing. You too can be a part of this incredible journey. Go to our website, kc.bharatafirst.com, for more details and register now. The introductory early bird offer ends at the end of the month on the 30th of July. So please make full use of it and register now. Since you're here, I would like to thank you for your continued support. For those of you who haven't already subscribed, please like the video, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and then all notifications. Do subscribe to our newsletter as well to get some incisive content. The Bharata First team runs a daily Big Picture quiz. Please participate by going through the description in Big Picture videos. If you like our content, contribute and keep it alive. The links are in the description of this video. All this information, along with some must-see recommendations, are in the description of the video. Please go through it. That's it from me. See you again next time.